Hi friends. So in today's video, I'm going to take you through the kind of investments you need to make if you decide to pursue the ACCA qualification. Now there are two parts to this. Number one, the amount of money you need to pay the ACCA professional body, which is towards your student registration, your exams, etc. And the second is the amount you need to pay towards your coaching. Let's look at both separately. So let's look at the fees to be paid to the ACCA professional body. So I'm on this website accaglobal.com, okay, and as first things you do is you go to the student section and you go to exams. Now when you come into exams, you need to choose exam fees, okay, and you'll come to this section which is fees and charges, right? This will give you a complete synopsis of the fees you need to pay the ACCA. All right. Now, first things first that you need to do is you need to choose your region. So I go for India. Depending on whichever region you are, you choose your region. The fees marginally does differ region to region. I'm just choosing India for reference. Okay, I click on ACCA, and as you see this screen, there are a set of fees that you need to pay. Now I'm going to take you through each of these components very systematically. Now first things first, when you register with the ACCA, you need to pay an initial registration fees, which is at the moment £30. All these fees are may change from time to time, but at this point in time this fees is £30, which is the initial registration fees. Now once you become a student, every year you also need to pay something called as an annual subscription fees. Okay, it's like a student subscription that you need to pay, and as long as you're a student, you'll have to keep paying this annually, which is about £116. All right. Now, after registration and subscription, let's get to your exam fees. Okay. Now, as you all are aware that the first 4 papers of the ACCA, which is 3 papers of the knowledge level and the 4th paper of the skills level, which is the law paper, happen in the CBE center, right? Which is a computer-based exam center. So you have to go to your closest CBE in your city, the closest licensed CBE, choose a center and appear for an exam there. Now the fees of the first 4 papers is not collected by the ACCA directly. It will be collected by the licensed CBE that you go to. And typically any CPE will charge you anywhere between 80 to 90 pounds per paper, right? This I'm referring to the first 4 papers. So anywhere between 80 to 90 pounds, it may differ from CBE to CBE, but that's the broad range, 80 to 90 pounds per paper for the first 4 papers, okay? But the 5th paper onwards, which is 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th paper of the skills level, and of course the 4 papers of the professional level, you will have to pay up directly to the ACCA body, right? Now, what's the kind of fees that you'll end up paying for your exams? Let's have a look, okay? Now, any skills paper that you appear for, okay, has fees which actually, there are 3 entry points, as you can see. So let's say we're in the month of say December 21 right now, and we need to book an exam for the March 22 attempt. Now, either you could book on or before 15th of November, which is called the early entry, as you can see. And if you're very sure of the exam, it's best to get into the early entry. You'll end up paying about £116 per paper. This is for the skills paper, 5th to 9th paper, okay? Let's assume you're not sure before 15th of November. Then anywhere between 15th November and say 31st of Jan, which is a standard entry, you pay £123. Now, let me tell you, maximum students book in this category, which is £123. But like I said, if you're very sure of the exam, then you might as well, save up and book it in the early entry, right? But let's say you were not able to book till 31st Jan, then the last date for the March exam would be 7th of Feb. And then the fees does get very expensive. It goes to £313. This is late entry. And, as much as possible, you will not get into this section at all. So either you will pay £116 or £123. This is for skills papers from 5th to 9th. Okay, moving ahead, let's look at the fees of the professional papers. Now in the professional level, the SBL paper has a separate fee. okay, which is Strategic Business Leader. And the SBR paper and the two optional papers that you need to do have a separate fee. What do you pay for the SBL paper? Again, if I give a reference to the March 22 exam, early entry is about £203, standard entry is £216, and late entry is £348, right? So the SBL paper is the most expensive paper of all the papers in the ACCA curriculum. But the SBR paper and the two optional papers have the same fees, okay? And what is it? Once again, if I look at the March 22 exam, then early entry is £147, standard is £154, late is £348. This is the fees for the SBR. Also, the optional papers, which is either Advanced FM, Advanced PM, Advanced Tax, Advanced Audit. As you all know, you have to pick any two out of these four. The fees is exactly the same as SBR. 147 in the early, 154 in the standard, and 348 in the late entry. This is your exam fees. Over and above this, what you also need to pay for is a fees towards something called as Ethics and Professional Skills module. Now, this is like an online module you need to do with the ACCA, and it's generally recommended that you do it after the skills level before you get into the professional level. So this is, an online module that you need to do, and this will cost you about £68, right? So this is the kind of fees you will pay if you're doing all the 13 papers. Now, just in case, if you're a student who's claiming exemptions, as you all are aware, right? Graduate students who have done BCom have 4 exemptions, CA, IPCC or Inter have 6 exemptions, Chartered Accountants have 9 exemptions. So if you are one of those category students and you're claiming any kind of exemptions, then obviously for the paper that you are not going to write, you don't pay an exam fees, but you pay an exemption fees. It's not free, okay? What is that exemption fee? So for every knowledge level paper, the exemption fee is £84. For every skills level paper, the exemption fee is £111. There is no concept of professional level because you are never exempt from a professional exam. You can be exempt from any knowledge paper or from any skills paper. But let me tell you that this is the rack rate on the ACCA's website. Now, being approved learning partners with ACCA, there are a lot of discounts and benefits that ACCA passes to us, and we are very happy to in turn pass it on to the students. And hence the cost of these exemptions can substantially go down if you book your exams through us, right? So if you're interested in claiming exemptions, you can come to us, we will register you, and we will be able to give you a lot of waivers and discounts, not just in the registration fee, but also in the exception fees. Okay, so all in all, let's say if you're a student who's doing all the 13 papers, okay, let me tell you that broadly, the cost would be about £2,000. So if you convert it to Indian rupees, it's about 2 lakhs, plus and minus 10%. That's if you do all the 13 papers. And that includes everything, your registration, your exam fees, your online ethics and professional skills, your subscription, assuming you will be a student for at least 2 to 3 years. So it will roughly be about £2,000 or so, plus and minus 10%. And if you are somebody who's claiming exemptions, then obviously this £2,000 will substantially come down. Okay, so this is the fees you pay up the ACCA body. Now, let's look at the fees that you will have to pay for your coaching. Now, let's look at the second part of the investments you need to make, which is the amount you need to pay for your coaching. Now, if you decide to go to a physical coaching class in your city, you will land up investing anywhere between 2.5 to 3 lakh of rupees and upwards for all the 13 papers. But let's say if you decide to pursue your ACCA using the e-learning solution at Synthesis Learning, which is a study anytime, anywhere solution with everything you need to pass your exams, be it video lectures, be it tests, energizers, practice lectures, mock exams, etc. This amount can go as low as 50%, and you can complete all your 13 papers in about 1.5 lakh of rupees. I'm sharing the link below. Do go through the website, have a look at the e-learning solution, and start your ACCA journey now.